not going to see Super Picard yet, at least.
Oh God!
We'll see.
Oh God!
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see if they bring on J.J. Abrams as a producer for season 2.
Fuck.
We'll get Super Picard.
Oh God! No, please, God! I almost hyperventilated there, man. Like,
you know who could really make this series watchable for me from this point is M. Night Shyamalan. Just to hell with it. Let's go all the way to Hell World.
Star Trek After Earth, The Happening, Star Trek, The Lady in the Water. Honestly, all of his titles could actually work as Star Trek movie titles. Star Trek, Star Trek, The Village. See, all of them.
They're all the lowest budget episodes.
I was thinking, like, especially because it's in the news, you know, they're remaking Dune. Is like, if Picard is not good and it's got a glass ceiling, it's got a ceiling as far as how good it can be, and that's going to be not very good. Then maybe we should just tank it on purpose. So therefore, we should hire like David Lynch, and he should do season 2 and just fucking make it weird and like actually just tank it and see where it goes.
Just give it to somebody and let them just say, all right, I've got this established character. Instead of just messing around and fooling with the storyline, we're going to go all in. Just
even better, Rian Johnson. Give it to him.
That will not divide the Star Trek fan base whatsoever. I like your thoughts, guys. I also enjoy the idea of a Star Trek movie that won't gross over $100 million at the box office.
Are you going to use Quentin Tarantino? Oh, wait, never mind.
That was one of the most insane rumors in the world. Was that Quentin Tarantino could have directed a Star Trek movie and it was going to be rated R and all this other stuff.
I mean, he could have so much fun just creating racial slurs for every single alien.
Oh, dude.
Does my shuttle bay say spoonhead storage?
Yeah.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Hey, what's up, shitheads, cinephiles, and pedophiles? I've decided that's what I'm going to just start calling anyone who actually watches this show, because on a long enough timeline, why the fuck not? Welcome to another episode of The Giggo Show, also known as Garbage In, Garbage Out. I'm one of your hosts, Kelton. Joining me today, as always, is my amazing partner, Devon. How's it going?
Sup, bitches?
Okay, much more aggressive that time. And we actually have not one, not two, but 3 guests, sometimes 4 if we're going with their alt accounts. We got Scott, Cap, and Craig joining us here. How's it going, fellas?
Hey,
Hello.
Live long and prosper.
All right.
Nerd.
Live long and ligma.
And this week we are going to be talking about Picard, which I'm sure pretty much everyone would be able to tell already based on the episode title. I don't understand it when hosts of topical-based shows are like, I wonder what we're going to be talking about today. Anyways, ignore the title. I guess everyone listening to me just auto-scrolled. So this is what it's all come down to. But we're talking about Picard, and it is a show that's on CBS All Access, right? For the 4 people out there who are owners of CBS All Access accounts,
and the 500 people who are using it off of someone else's account.
It really has strong HBO Go energy from 2013. So I appreciate what they're trying to build there. I thought that it was an interesting tactic on CBS's part to try and have this be one of the real flagship programs that they are going to be building a world out of. I know off mic, Craig had talked about how this is CBS and Paramount's attempt to kind of MCUify Star Trek. Did you want to build on that a little bit?
I mean, there's so many series that are still going on in production right now. There's not only Picard, there's Discovery. There's not only Discovery, but there's also like a cartoon called Lower Decks that's coming out. There are the assorted short treks. There is like a Section 31 spinoff coming. And like people are demanding for a Captain Pike show. People are demanding a 7 of 9 show. Like it's just like anytime they find a good character, like we need another show for this person. It's like, all right, cool, I'm in.
Well, we are also in the era, I think, of where demanding a TV show for someone isn't demanding 22 episodes and 3 seasons. You know, it can be 8 to 10 episodes released every 2 years. So it can happen as much or as little as the demand is for him.
I could really go for a 7 of 9 Fenris Ranger series. I could watch that.
And
kind of like a Star Trek
how would you
Mandalorian.
watch it though? Is my question. With or without pants?
I was just thinking Walker Texas Ranger, but good.
See, I'm only thinking like Chippendale Rescue Rangers. So
They also didn't have pants on the entire time.
I'll take that.
Oh, all right, I'm in.
Well, I guess for some people, because apparently there are some of you crazy fuckers out there who decide to listen to this show instead of watching all of whatever medium we are discussing. And so it kind of falls on me to hold your hand through all of this. And that's not really going to be happening this time around. Trying to sum up an entire TV show in this, God help us. We'll try and hit on some of the main plot points, but needless to say, this series, it ties into the 2009 Star Trek movie that happened. I want to say via, or is it because of, or why? Dear God, why? With J.J. Abrams, that featured the destruction of the planet Romulus. So the thing that sent Spock and Nero's crew back in time, that created the new timeline, is the thing that we're following the after effects of. We're in the prime timeline, which just before I have everyone thinking that I'm actually a nerd, how many fucking timelines are there in Star Trek? Like, what's the over under here?
Define a timeline.
Yeah, good. Yeah,
like
I was
fully established timelines, not like flash forwards to possible futures. Wooga booga booga.
I mean, like I was at like this Star Trek exhibit at a museum, and they tried to put the entire timeline up there, and with it breaking off at all these separate places, and even they missed a couple of like time travel episodes. I'm like, oh my god, like there's even more that's going on here.
Okay, now, Craig, you're really gonna have to help me out here. So you went into a Star Trek museum where they had all of the different fragment points, and you were the person saying like, "Oh, you missed a few."
I did. I was that person. And not only
Were you
that,
the
like there
kid,
was
like critiquing all the dinosaur statues in elementary school on every field trip. She's like, "Well, you know they had feathers, right?" Nearly that
Jeez.
cool. It's not like Jurassic Park.
Excuse me, the Cardassians have two sets of vertebrae.
Mhm. And all the Klingons have 2 dicks.
Beat
And
me to the
apparently,
punch.
Even the women.
yeah, yep.
It's hidden in their head.
It's one of my favorite lines from Lorca. Is in the early part of before we established officially that they have 2 of them. Lorca has that line where he looks at her and says, like, "Isn't he missing a part for you?" or something like that.
Jesus.
It's like, jeez.
There really is a lot out there with Star Trek. So I'm sure our discussion is going to be kind of enveloping all the different bits and pieces across the board. So not to dive too much into what y'all's particular backgrounds are with Star Trek, or what your political ideologies are versus Star Trek, but where do you stand on the idea of Picard being the best Star Trek captain? Because that seems to be like the layman's opinion. And
Yes.
so, what is your take on that? Not necessarily whether or not he's your favorite, but if someone says, "Oh, well, Picard is my favorite Star Trek captain," and I haven't seen a bunch of Star Trek, what's your immediate response? Are you like,
you're, all right? So you're familiar with the character that was originally appeared in the Next Generation, named Q, correct?
yes?
Okay. So Q has been in multiple series of Star Trek. To date, he's been in The Next Generation multiple times. He was in an episode of DS9, and he was in multiple episodes, I think, of Voyager.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a reasonable conclusion to say, like, it's a good barometer to judge the quote modernish Starfleet captains based off their interactions with Q. With Q being like the the common denominator between the three. So Picard did a lot of begging, pleading, played some rhymes, and played some nursery rhymes with him. He usually came out on top. Usually, sometimes had to ask for help from Q or Guinan or whatever.
See, at this point, I'm just also picturing like QAnon as well.
Yeah.
So,
Janeway was like Q tried to like fall in love with Janeway and like learn parenting tips and other bizarre human shit. It was just weird and uncomfortable, kind of like her whole captaincy was. He showed up on one episode of DS9, started some shit, and Cisco punched him in the fucking face. So
Which was awesome.
Cisco is the best captain. I don't care what anybody says. Fight me.
so no love for Pike from Discovery, as we got to know him more, or Lorca from Discovery, or my God, help me out here, the Asian commander,
Giorgio.
Giorgio, yeah. The Asian. Jeez, Kelton.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want me to go with like Chinese nationalist? Is that better? Get real divisive. Just be like, yes, the Hong Kong Liberation Front.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Lorca because like he was very assertive and like was he very much like Cisco. He was like, the times demand me to be kind of an asshole, right? Because I'm in a war. And I can respect that. Picard kind of comes off as like he's the manager that all the Karens are asking for.
He is the chosen one, the one who will honor their coupon, the one foretold in myth and legend.
Yeah.
See, to me, Picard has always come across as like he's the right captain for the series and for the ship, and you can't really judge each one of them based on. It's hard to compare them to each other because they're all in very different situations.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at, and one of the big things,
like too much into like a bizarre sports analogy, but if y'all are familiar with the term system quarterback, would you say that Picard is a system captain? Just like, well, yeah, I mean, like he was in a perfect setup. He was there for such a long time. We haven't really seen him in too many other spots, and who knows with this weird like Tampa Bay experience, this vineyard experience, what's gonna happen?
I mean, like I can see that, except Picard is Belichick.
Oh,
right. He makes the system.
Okay, gotcha.
But he doesn't cheat, so I don't know.
So is Riker Tom Brady?
I mean, like I could honestly get behind that. I would love to see Tom Brady morph into Riker just before our very eyes.
He has to morph into Riker from Picard, though. It can't be like good Riker. It has to be Riker and Shatner's old girdle, sitting in that darkened screen of what's clearly a redressed bridge of the USS Discovery.
Oh God. Now with that lovely mental image in my head,
I hate you.
I feel like I'm actually ready to go ahead and seize the day here. So thank you so much.
Just to round that out, there's the one thing that bugs me about this, the biggest peeve I have, and I have to check with you guys on this. Admiral Jean-Luc Picard goes to the CNC of Starfleet, and he says, I'd like a small ship. I just need a few people. I want to go investigate a thing. And they're like, that is sheer fucking hubris. So then a pizza chef from the backwoods of nowhere is like, hey, I gotta go help save the guy you turned down for a podunk tugboat. And they're like, here's a fleet that is 5 times the size of the fleet we sent to Wolf 359.
Okay, we're also assuming though that Riker didn't just like lay the best pipe he had in 20 years into this woman though, and that was the reason. She was like, sure, do whatever you want.
You got to assume the medicated boners in the 2390 something have got to be pretty boned.
He's just like, Q, make it work.
We can medicate boners, but we can't medicate children.
Oh no. Oh. R.I.P. Riker sad dad story. Let's do this.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, well, we are so far into this already.
It's derailed.
Yeah, and that's honestly fine. But to give people a slight semblance of what has happened or what is going on, we're at the end of the 24th century. The show starts about 20 years after Nemesis, which was all about the Borg, and then it ended question mark with Data dying. I don't know what y'all's opinion on Nemesis was, but I thought it was kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it
can't
did
make
have
a fart
Tom
sound
Hardy
loud enough.
in it, though, if I remember correctly, right? Or was that first contact? No, Nemesis was with Tom Hardy,
No.
right?
Nemesis had Tom Hardy as cosplaying Dr. Evil.
I mean, he was the clone, the chosen one there. But anyways,
Send in the clone.
after all of that happened, 14 years, I'm sorry, 20 years after that, 14 years after his retirement from Starfleet, Jean-Luc Picard is living a quiet, nice, happy life in his vineyard with his 2 Romulan servants. Which, we don't need to understand
One
the
of who is
classic
Irish.
analysis. Yeah, what was up with that, by the way? Like, I come from the Scottish part of Romulan.
Are you sure he's from another planet? It sounds like he's from the north.
Someone who is into plastic surgery, not even actually a Romulan.
And I think the other one was Pete Seeger. Pete
Now-
Seeger's a folk singer.
Oh, God damn it.
He's dead.
Yeah.
Fine. I need y'all to also understand I am 27 years old. So
Still a youngin.
no excuses, of course, by any
Okay,
means,
Zoomer.
However. Oh, no,
Back
don't
in
say
my
that. I'm one of the olds. I am on the Council of Elders, according to the Zoomers. Now,
Romulan Robo fucks by.
now, needless to say, Picard, he's haunted by these dreams and this vision of shit that went down on Romulus. And
it was just like Patrick Stewart was haunted by all the tropes he knew he had to go through again.
and then tragic backstory occurred, and that's what damaged me, you see. And that's when of course then he's sought out by a mysterious young woman named Daj, who is in need of his
Daj.
help. And I know we're in the synopsis point, so I'm going to try and wrap this up, but in the sense that needless to say, his life gets turned up all the way, flipped upside down. He's the fresh prince of Romulus, and he learns about all of the personal connections that he has with this woman, and so much fucking plot happens. Oh my god, with this fucking show. This is Star Wars basically, but as Picard, right?
What with the 3 acts kind of thing?
And all of the ever increasing ridiculous and yet simplistic names. And
Yeah, Daj.
I mean, we can go into some characters, but that person who seemed like a cross between the dude from Firefly and Han Solo, just kind of hanging out in the background. Being
He was, to me, he's a sad Inigo Montoya.
Yeah. He is
You
too,
kill my
yeah.
captain. You kill my captain. Prepare to die.
we have a really different world though than I think what happened when we left the Next Generation.
Yeah.
Oh,
Since,
absolutely, absolutely.
We at least in my head, I had always thought of the Next Generation and Star Trek world as being a quasi utopia, but apparently it's not. Apparently it's just shitty Kmart version Blade Runner.
See, that's what it's always supposed to have been. Is like by the 23rd century, during Kirk's time, the Federation is supposed to be, and human civilization in particular, is supposed to have been completely post-scarcity. We're beyond all of the old concepts of class and what have you. I mean, even in First Contact, Picard specifically says like the acquisition of material wealth no longer drives us.
Yeah, like that's
Okay,
always
but-
like a totally like conflicted thing because like in original series they said there was something called Federation credits, right? And then like we have all the gold pressed latinum and in like DS9. So like Star Trek economics, like if you really dig deep into it, you're gonna like go down a rabbit hole that is like deeper than QAnon. Like it's just like who the fuck knows what the economy is there.
Yeah, like what they
It's
have
worse
to
than D&D.
Yeah, because they're definitely doing commerce with other civilizations and empires, and like I'm sure sometimes you need to straight up buy shit, and how do you buy shit if you have no currency?
Even on the planet, though, there is an element of class. The
Yes.
Picard,
Oh, yeah.
in the in between time of what's taken place, Picard got a new ship, a new crew, a new first officer, and then when shit went wrong on Romulus, and apparently all of the synths decided to revolt and rebel and or just go suicidal.
All the
When
simps or synths.
oh god, I'm a
Oh, God, no.
simple kind of man. And is that a song reference that y'all get, or is that
Simple, kind of. Yeah.
I mean, like,
I think
love Limp
everybody
Bizkit
knows what it's
songs,
getting.
so I mean, I figured that's the.
Oh.
God, what do you think I listened to in the '90s? Jeez.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Much more of this, I'm going to have to break shit.
Actually, if Kelton ever does find out what I listened to in the '90s, I'm gonna have to go down there and take care of business because that can't.
It's fine. It's fine. Trapped is currently in the middle of getting, Q-pilled on Twitter, so we'll be good. Needless to say, the class divide though really seems kind of prevalent, especially on Earth, in the sense of Picard has a fucking vineyard, and his first officer, who got totally shafted, is living in a trailer and is an alcoholic, and Picard's like,
Grows her own weed.
will
Yeah.
brings a bottle of wine, which is just kind of like if you had a heroin user friend who you needed something from, and you brought
Right.
like just a tiny
Yeah, I've
little
got some-
smidge.
Yeah.
How
I mean,
much
like,
better would it have been
was-
if Picard showed up with just a sack of like Kush?
I like it was weird enough. Like he shows up with a bottle of wine, right? First of all, I like to think of his like vineyard as a worker co-op, but like that's just me.
Sure,
but like he shows up
sure.
with a bottle of wine, and like the addict first officer is all like, "Is that the 2382?" Like, wow, you have a discerning palate for like someone who's like gone totally rock bottom. What the hell is going on here?
And also, you have replicators. You have
Yeah.
replicators.
Yeah.
What's happening here?
The whole like post scarcity thing is like, you have replicators. It's like, but what if we need? It's like, then tell the machine.
Well, he didn't need to bring Kush. She was already growing her own.
That's true. She was.
Oh, she had that. Was it? They call it dragon something or other.
Yeah, she had a vape
I
rig
don't
for
know.
it.
Yeah, she had like this futuristic vape-looking thing.
Yeah, I really could tell that was like an Alex Kurtzman kind of thing, because he talked about how he wanted to bring like a grounded approach to everything, but what that really means is just like make like really shiny chrome and gunmetal color scheme of
And
what we
also
have
everyone
today.
has to suffer.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, like,
Isn't it bad if you have it all? Like, look how oppressed and shitty these people feel.
Yeah, Picard has this fantastic vineyard, and he's got this huge house, and he can't even escape it when he's on a ship in space.
Yeah.
We built the fucking set.
I've just been waiting to die. Like, sure, great.
Oh, that was such a terrible line. Like, God.
So, do we want to give credit, I guess, to Picard, because what's coming next is going to be some rough and tumbleness, I think, for the series. But they took a big swing with this show. Like, they tried to incorporate a major event that happened with the destruction of Romulus, and they were trying to give actual closure and significance to the death of Data. And those were some choices. Those, I mean, it's like in baseball, of where they're not. It's not always going to be hits, but man, like it's some big swings that you took, and I can admire that.
Yeah,
I
I think that's yeah. Go ahead,
Oh,
Craig.
okay, yeah. I mean, like, I am okay with them being like, we get to have takesy backsies on Data's death and do it over again, like in a better way. So that's cool.
Asterisk around that.
Yeah. But yeah, like I actually don't have a problem with them like showing Earth in a like less technological way, right? I don't need a CGI of like Coruscant, right? From Star Wars with all like the things moving around. I don't need that. Like I already know that like that's a big part of it. I want to know like how everyone else lives, right? And like so I think like seeing Raffi and Picard in their vineyard and like wherever the hell Raffi's trailer like is
Where
worthwhile.
Rafi's trailer is. Redlining exists still.
Oh
Jesus.
shit.
They really should have gotten torched and gone to Cisco's.
Oh Jesus, that would have been
call.
right up in for that. Yeah, yeah.
It's just
Get the
him and
gumbo.
Q as a couple suddenly in that trailer.
Etouffee.
I actually personally have some sympathy for the producers and showrunners with this, even if I don't necessarily agree with their choices or even think that it's very good, because they do have to take big swings. And you're trying to take a show that was delivered in a certain type of way in the 80s and 90s, campy one piece jumpsuits, everything self-contained, and you're trying to modernize it. Like, it can be modernized, and I'm not saying I have the answer that with a formula that will make it work, but you've got to try, and they're at least trying. Is it good all the time? Probably not.
No.
Is it even hitting the minimum batting average of your typical Star Trek show? Maybe not, but I'm happy that they're at least trying, and I'd rather have shit to watch that's new than not have it.
Just think about how shitty it would have been if you turned on the Trek Picard and it literally just picks up at the end of All Good Things.
Well, they
Oh,
did.
wait.
They
Like-
already did that with the intro of the show. The show begins with him playing poker against Data in the D. They did
So
that on
that's-
purpose.
But what I mean is like how shitty would it have been if it was just the show again? It was just like season 8 of Next
Oh,
Gen.
I mean, terrible. Absolutely
Yeah,
terrible.
like you can't do that. You have to take big risks. I'd be a huge nerd here with as Kirk once told somebody on Star Trek Generations, risk is part of the game if you want to sit in the big chair.
oh, good call. Yeah, that's a great line. And like to be honest, like for me, I think they're hitting above the Mendoza line. Like if you're looking at more baseball allegories, right? So like
I'm doing that just to piss Kelton off, by the way.
Did they do better than the Niners though?
So does that reporter lady get to sit in the big chair because of the big swing she took?
oh,
Fox
I mean,
News,
like,
but
she-
in space is such a great way to depict how media will work in the future.
she's not even Fox News. Like she's straight up MSNBC, like liberal,
Super
like
Yeah.
like we're gonna like
Oh, like they
sympathize
would
with
critique a war hero who committed
So-
crimes.
right.
Admiral Picard, why did you help the Romulans rig our election?
Jesus God. Well,
Oh.
She's the Rachel Maddow of the 24th century.
oof. So, yeah, no, I could see that. The other major point as we're trying to paint a picture here.
Oh
is,
fuck! It should have been Jake Sisko.
The reporter? Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that could have worked.
Oh, that would have worked.
But that's too much tie-in shit. Then you're just getting
Yeah.
campy and like, you might as
Yeah,
well just have like,
Yeah, what are you trying to build? An MCU but for Star Trek? Exactly. What you're trying
Yeah, I guess to be fair, one of my biggest complaints about it is that it's so much Star Trek just referencing itself. Like, hey, you guys remember this episode? Hey, you guys remember
Yeah.
this one reference? I mean, when they went to the casino planet, they have Mott's hair cuttery.
I mean,
oh,
it's
God.
really, really hard for like to try and please like a fandom who is all like, well, it needs to like have this person, this person, this person who I loved before, with like the idea of like, yeah, we want to bring in new people, right? And like bring in
Mhm.
new fans and like maybe not make it so you had to watch everything else in order to like get it.
And
Okay, so what you're
all
saying
these
is, like-
people, their contracts are pretty fucking expensive. If we're just gonna be realistic here, okay?
So what you're saying is like Star Trek is like electoralism, and we have to wait for all the boomers to die in order to be able to have positive.
Oh god, that makes me like the blue no matter who of Star Trek at this point because I'm a huge fan of the older shows for a lot of reasons. But to be fair, like I also look at them like Disco and Picard, and I really don't like them.
When I saw that season 1 episode of Next Generation where they took on that early tribal African planet, I thought
Oh,
this is some
Jesus.
good
Oh,
quality TV. This is what I need more of.
Oh god.
Yikes.
That's what you're defending, Cap.
Yeah, you just posted cringe, bro.
I mean, like, I am with AOC and Raffi and Michael Burnham. That's the future.
I do want to talk for a moment about how we see a different side of Starfleet, and I was wondering if, in y'all's opinion, this is kind of what Starfleet always is, and the places we've been to are kind of the anomalies, or what? Because it seemed like Starfleet is basically like Shield now. It's like the military instead of cool NASA, and it seems like everywhere else is kind of shot look like Logan, specifically his vineyard, like the
I
lighting,
like,
amber filter, all of that shit. It just I felt entirely marvelized to me.
I have like a big, like, I think Picard's waking up to the idea that every other series had already figured out that, like, a lot of like the Starfleet administration and the Admiralty, like, have you ever seen an admiral or particularly a commodore who is ever like either competent and a good guy at the same time? It never happens, right?
Admiral Nechayev is the one who I can point to and say, like, this is our one competent and good leader. I mean, she hates Picard, but she's like one of the few examples you have. I mean, the very first season of Next Generation ends with the episode Conspiracy, where the bugs are taking over Starfleet.
Right.
Ooh,
Yeah, I
got
mean,
moved.
Starfleet's always had like kind of like a dark side. It's just you have to watch literally an entire series to get one or two episodes that might deal with it. The one that always comes back to me is a DS9 episode where Starfleet's at war with the Dominion. The Dominion is ran by a bunch of shapeshifters. The shapeshifters have infiltrated Earth, infiltrated Starfleet, and are impersonating high-level people in
Mhm.
Starfleet. And like Starfleet institutes like martial law on Earth, Earth-wide. And like you have Starfleet officers in the streets with guns, DNA testing citizens,
Hmm.
and like that's pretty intense.
Yeah, it can get really dark, and like I just think of it as like this, like the whole big allegory of like the rank and file workers who are on the starships, right? Like the captains are like the union stewards fighting against like the Randy Weingarten fucking and Trumka union leaders who are just pork chopping that shit, right? Like, I'm sorry, I totally like made this political allegory, but like that's a lot of like
On
what
this
I
show,
feel
how
with
could
that.
you?
Well, didn't the
Star Trek
DNA
political?
didn't the DNA testing not even work because they would like incorporate the DNA when they switched or whatever?
Yes. That's
Yeah.
what one of them alluded to, that they could hold on to the blood and then release it when
Yeah.
they need it.
Yeah.
Why is your blood all coagulated?
It's
But
black. What the hell?
Why are you submitting a giant scab as your blood sample?
Gross.
That's how my species works. Don't
Ew,
judge.
ew, get it away.
There's not enough people saying "ew" in Star Trek, to be quite honest.
But I think that's enough like background in other shows to show like a society that Kirk lives in, or Picard lives in, where you see a society becoming more nationalistic, more xenophobic. We've just seen all throughout history, civilizations rise and fall pretty much in the same way. Why is the Federation any different? Like, why can't we have a story about the collapse of the Federation? It's inevitable. If there is a Federation, it's not going to last forever. Something's going to happen and it's not going to exist and turn into something else.
One of
Why
the
can't
things
we
about
talk
Star
about
Trek
that?
is it always reflects things that are going on politically in the real world, like for our day, our time. And so
Yeah.
like that whole idea of like, yeah, maybe everything's not that great, right? Well, in the 60s and 70s when it first came out, they're like, yeah, America's awesome, right? Because like we don't know any better. And then as we move on, it's like, wait, maybe we're not.
A lot of people are still like, America's awesome. So I don't think
Yeah,
we've
but they don't
moved.
read.
Neither do the producers of Picard, apparently, because
Oh,
this
Jesus.
shit is simple as hell. So I think it's time that we go into the one thing that I do think that the show is not going to be known for, but I think is clearly the thing I enjoy the most, which is just running through the plot, and we just take it all head on. We've already talked a little bit here and there, but I think what I would like to do to make things a little different is, since y'all are the experts, um, I will act kind of like the bumpers for every 5-year-old that's going bowling, to try and make sure that we don't go off all of the way. But I would like us to try and recap the plot.
Picard, as he says himself, is waiting to die. Daj shows up. Romulan hit squad kills her boyfriend, and then she kind of runs away. He tries to track her down again and figure out who she is. She finds him at Starfleet HQ. Then she's killed by a Romulan hit squad. Picard's
Hell
kind
yeah.
of blown up.
The
Picard wakes
Romulan
up.
the Romulan hit squad, sorry to interrupt. The Romulan hit squad really did kind of seem like not the best of the best that the Romulans could offer.
I mean,
because-
it's 5 guys riding Kawasaki motorcycles.
Like they kill her like biting his tooth and like spitting out poison like he's fucking what's his name from Dune killing Baron
Dune, yeah.
Harkonnen or trying to, right? That's the only thing I thought of when I saw that. I'm like, oh my god, yeah, like I saw them try and do that to Baron Harkonnen, but he had the good sense to back away.
See, I'm right. David Lynch should have done Picard.
It's also making me realize that we just have to cover Dune next episode. Like,
Oh, for
much
real?
to my utter chagrin. So my basic question is, if these people are willing to die and they're like, oh no, we can't, we gotta make sure she doesn't activate. Once she has clearly activated, that's when you decide to bite your poison pill and realize y'all aren't all going to be making it out of this. So just suicide vest that shit, right?
they all had clearly like personal transporters. Hit the fucking button and send her into orbit.
Yeah, I mean, but that's always the easy way out. Like, you can't do that, and then the show's over. Like, what are you gonna do for episode 2?
Go find the
We'll
other
find
one.
out, because it's the exact same thing.
Yeah. Big control, paste.
Yeah.
And that's the big twist is
But
like
this time
after
it's on a board cube.
after she gets murked, Picard finds out that she actually has an identical twin, which has to do with something about how she was created. Like they split a neuron from Data. Like it's like the Sith, the rule of 2, except they're hot 20-something-year-old androids.
Which I don't get. Dodge didn't have like any evidence anywhere in her apartment that she had a
Yeah.
twin, but her twin
The other one.
does.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
just doesn't make sense. Like, why? What kind of father lets one of the kids know that they have an identical out there, and the other one is just in the dark by itself?
Anakin Skywalker. Oh,
So
No.
I just thought of this. If they're created in 2s, you have Data and Lore who are a pair. Who the fuck is B4s?
I don't know. B4 seems like a prototype, like not even a very good one.
Yeah.
B4 is the beta version.
So anyway, back to the plot. So
Yeah.
woman goes exploding. Picard somehow survives a massive blast. What happens next, Scott?
He starts doing research in the Starfleet archives, where they do a bunch of little Easter eggs for nerd like me. When he walks into his personal vault, and you see all the little contraptions and trappings of the Next Generation series, including everyone's favorite Captain Picard
Captain
Day
Picard
banner.
Day.
Yeah. That episode.
I'm a
let me
role
tell you.
model.
I'm a role model. But yeah, they throw that in, and it's
Indeed.
kind of neat, and it's like it's one of those moments where you can kind of forgive all the turd that you've been sniffing for that previous 30 minutes, because you get that 3 minutes of orgasmic joy as you see all these little callbacks, and then you're brought back to reality when they bring out the painting, and you're like, oh, daughter, twins, blah blah blah. And just sorry, the tropes, man, the tropes.
Yeah, that was
Like that painting is my cover photo on Twitter right now. So
Oh, Jesus, Craig, I hate you.
whatever, dude. I'm in. I'm in.
Yeah. So
Sometimes I like to think if I was in that Picard, I just looked at that, I'd be like, close this up. I'm going home. I'm getting very drunk.
So I have a question about I have a question about the painting. So, did the painting or the two paintings show up at all in the old seasons or any of the old shows?
I
No.
don't remember the specific paintings, so I don't think they did. But Data definitely painted
Yes.
Yeah.
in episodes of Next Generation for sure.
Okay, and
He had a really nice Mondrian.
also, why are there like two versions shown in the show? There's like one with the face showing like in the dream sequence, but then like in the actual painting in the archives, there's no face. It's just like a woman in white.
I think it's to kind of parallel you create them in pairs
Yeah.
thing.
Well, but
It rhymes.
but if they were matching like a pair, like wouldn't you have it not have the face on both of them or whatever?
That's fair.
It might not have been finished. Maybe it was like he
Not
was
finished.
nemesis or something, and when he got ganked, obviously he couldn't finish it, or he didn't like it and was like, "Fuck this painting, I don't want it no more."
Artists often do like different versions of the same painting.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
trying to find the one they
That's
like.
something that Data probably would have experimented with. I think.
It's just like how
I like
every like presidential portrait that exists, there's all incredibly tasteful nude.
it's
It's
just
I'm just thinking Worf has some really ugly version of that painting on the wall, just like every day sees it.
it's kind of incredibly like fucked up that like Picard sees like this painting in a dream that he's never really seen before, right? Like
it's
like
behind his
that is
head.
not really explained by anything technical or anything like that. There's
Yeah,
some
that's what
metaphysical thing there.
Well, but
That's
it's in
what
his office. It's behind his head on the wall.
Yeah, but that one doesn't have the face in it, but in his dream it has a face.
Like, there's some metaphysical shit going on there. Like, you're right. Like, that
It's
is
the
not
power
like
of love and pine sap.
Jesus.
The power.
Hey, it's treading. You're treading there, making fun of Huey.
Or is he just like implanting her face into the dream because
He probably saw the painting like 25 years ago. And was like, cool, Data, and then put it in a box. He was just like, I don't want this creepy girl staring at me in my office for the next 30 years.
Okay, so where are we at now?
We're basically at the end of
Starfleet
episode
Archive.
Yeah.
Well, Scott went backwards to the archive,
Jesus.
but he goes
Yeah.
explodey after the archive.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, we're all over the place.
Oh, I forgot that part. I forgot
Yeah,
all about it. So the first two episodes just kind of blurred together to me.
But
So-
yeah, he finds out that he has a sister, and then
Mhm.
take it away.
Yeah, like he's got a sister. She's also being hunted by the Romulan super secret police. Like it's not the Tal Shiar. It's something even more secret than the Tal Shiar. Like where like the Momulan, like the woman and the man, the wards of Picard in the chateau are all like, oh no, there's the Jat Vaj who is like even more secret than the Tal Shiar, and like we were in Tal Shiar, but like no, we don't fuck with them. Like I was like, okay, all right, I'm listening, but okay. And so she's being hunted by them, and so Picard like goes into Admiral fuck, right? And says
Hell yeah.
it says like, I need a ship because like I'm Picard, right? I'm like kind of like the biggest badass ever. So like I should just be able to walk in and get a ship. Like even though I'm old and retired, like I should just be able to go in and like just grab 100 people and like risk their lives. And she's like
And
sheer
also,
fucking
I have
hubris.
a brain condition, so
Right, and I have a brain condition. Yeah, my brain isn't quite there, right? But like, it's cool. It's cool.
He really is Joe Biden.
Yeah, I know.
Oh Jesus, Joe Biden. Yes.
Look, we gotta save Corn Pop.
Joe Biden in space.
Even though I'm there enough to do a TV interview that I fucking bomb.
I can bomb a
Yeah.
TV interview and embarrass you and everything like that, but you got to give me a ship. And she's all like, sheer fucking hubris. Fuck off. You don't get anything. So Picard's like, all right, I got to go see my boy Riker on this planet and like see his like daughter, who I'm convinced is like.
we are
jumping so
Can we just
far.
skip like 5 episodes?
Yeah.
Did I skip a bunch? I'm
You
so
skipped
sorry.
a bunch.
No. He goes to his other first officer, not
Yeah.
Riker.
Right.
Raffi.
I'm sorry. He goes to
Right.
Raffi, that first officer.
Yes, and we've already
And she's
touched
like
on
very
that.
angry at him. Yeah,
The
she's
alcoholic
angry at
who
him.
he then buys off with alcohol. So
With alcohol, yeah.
Yeah.
Enables her. Like,
Yeah.
I know you're an AA and it's been 15 years, but why don't you
My
put that
bad.
fucking why don't you load up that dab?
Just be cool for
And-
5 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's like angry with him, like based on things that were in the comic book that came out right before the show. By the way, you can get that comic book on Amazon. But yeah.
Thanks, Jeff.
The
Bezos.
first 3 episodes of this are just basically everybody hates Captain Picard.
Yeah,
Mhm.
pretty much. Yeah.
Well, she hates Captain Picard so much that then she's also like, by the way, here is this captain. His name is Rios.
By the way, I called you an Uber.
The other Star Trek universe where it's all Star Wars shit. Look at his vest. He's cool.
Well, yeah, everybody hates Picard and that Captain Rios, he hates, so it works out.
I'm gonna cape Rios, but like that's fine. Y'all rock on with it. I will cape that guy. I think he's cool.
Can we just call him
Yeah.
Poe?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I loved poor man's Oscar Isaac in that.
Oh, God.
Ugh.
I fucking hate everybody in this conversation right now.
I actually really enjoyed Rios. He was I think he might be my favorite new character that they
'cause
introduced.
in the Star Wars Marvel reboot of Star Trek, he's the most Star Wars Marvel character in it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he
100%.
definitely fits.
And he gets like 5 roles. So
Yeah.
Yes, which is why
He
I
actually
like it
gets to act.
because
He
Yeah,
not only
full
gets
time.
5 roles, but like he actually plays them all well.
Oh
Which-
yeah,
I'm kind of impressed with.
yes.
I love the drunk pilot. But
I like the doctor,
he-
condescending doctor. too.
for a half second, I totally thought, like when they first showed up, I totally thought that it was Alexander Siddig. For
Oh.
just a second, I thought it was Bashir, and I was like, "The fuck."
Oh, that would be so
But-
awesome.
But no, I think my favorite part about him and like why I like that character the most, I relate to him in a lot of ways. Mainly being, he's just like, fine, we'll do it because it's Picard. Like that's how I felt about a lot of the show. So I related to him just being like, all right, fine, we'll just do it because it's okay. Let's go.
Like, just get the old man to shut the fuck up and just,
Yeah,
do
just
what he says. Like he's your
the-
grandfather,
Scott,
and you're just like,
shut up.
fine.
The faster I drive, the faster he's out of my car.
But if I hear you say anything with a hard R, we're pulling over.
Cap, what's occurring with the magical twin with Soji and
Soji's over on the old Borg cube that is broken. The Borg cube is the artifact. It's broken. She's sent over there for some reason to study it that we never really.
they
go
really yada
into?
yada over.
Yeah, and they have these really cool little badges that are like, "Hey, if this thing starts blinking, you better run." And you're like, "Oh, cool, that's gonna be scary later." And then like never. And she meets Romulan's sister fucker, and
Ms. Narek.
he's just sad the whole time too.
And
Oh,
he looks
God, he's so
horribly
wounded.
miscast,
He
by the way.
he's just like, he shows up like, "I'm the baby bird that you need to
nurse back to health.
nurse back to health through my penis."
Yeah.
To be fair,
And
he is a skinny British man, so all of that was basic subtext at that point.
Well, okay. So you're saying he's a skinny,
And-
small British man, so that makes his dick look big. Okay.
yeah, basically. I
He
mean,
calls it his baby bird.
it's
Specifically.
his sword. Every Romulan carries a sword now. They're
Oh,
all
Jesus.
like high elves.
Yeah.
So let's see. We show up over there. She's bringing the old Borgs back to life. Well, back to pre-Borg life, I guess.
Yeah, removing their components and such. Yeah.
Which I actually thought was a
And-
pretty cool concept to try out, at least. The idea
Oh,
of,
yeah.
let's see what these people are like once now they get unplugged from the collective, but they still have all of these memories of all of their actions and stuff. This
It
this will
gave
be a
me
very cool thread for us to develop and grow throughout the entire TV show. Right, guys.
Yeah. It gave me real strong vibes. I mentioned Stargate before, but Stargate SG-1 did a good one episode where they had one of their big bad guys. You know, they have that little alien lizard that takes over somebody's brain, and the alien lizard was dying, but the human body was 3,000 years old, and so he had this 3,000 years of memories of just like, what the fuck has been happening? Like, can you imagine what that would be like to just come out of that?
Just
It's like,
immediate space dementia is what would happen.
I really thought like the entire, and I'm just going to be that asshole and just say the second act of the show is just straight fluff.
So
It doesn't.
So
it
starting
doesn't
on
really,
episode 3, halfway through episode 3,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
the second
Jesus.
half of the show.
Yeah, from 3 to 7, it's just you're just jerking off. You're not.
Yeah.
You're just delaying the inevitable. Like you already know where the show is set up to be what it is going to be. It's going to be xenophobia, biological and organic life versus AI.
And,
All right, so we've done this trope a zillion times. We know where it's going. How's it going to end? That's all we care about at that.
Yeah, they had one of my favorite episodes in the middle, which is when they went to Planet Las Vegas.
Yeah, because you got some Dixon Hill vibes there. You were like, all right, we can do.
Everybody just dove into those characters as like their characters. It was a really fun like Ocean's 11 kind of. We're gonna tell you the plan while we execute it, and it really echoed "Bada Bing, Bada Bang" or whatever it was called from Deep Space Nine.
Right,
Yeah.
but like
It was a really
cringe
good
a little bit at like Picard being like the ridiculous Frenchman.
Yeah.
I cringed a little bit. I love this show, but I was just like, oh, don't do this.
You can't be anything other than the old man.
Before Picard, you are not allowed to do that accent outside the holodeck. Okay, you are in the real world
French.
now.
What is it with both of these major sci-fi franchises, Star Wars and Star Trek, throwing in casino planets and just totally pissing the bed on the entire sequence?
If only there was a common thread and problem that could be. But yeah,
His
so
name is JJ.
let's. So I know we're yada yadaing over a whole lot, but one thing I really wanted to mention was that as the mystery unfolds, because Romulans are now controlled by this doomsday cult, thinking that all synthetic life forms are going to bring about the end of the universe. Picard's immediate reaction is to recruit a child soldier. He's like, I know who I need for the job. That 9-year-old I abandoned. He's like, what,
with a sword
18 now? Cool. He can kill the fuck out of people.
Yeah, with a sword. Doesn't even have a projectile.
Choose to live. Yeah. To be fair to them, I don't think Picard, after watching it and then rewatching, I don't think Picard went there specifically for him, but I think he obviously went there to pick up a samurai of some kind.
He went there to get like their whole like so-called army or whatever, because he knew he didn't have enough people to like fight 250 ships of Romulans.
But you know what will work? One small group of nuns. That will save me.
Romulan nuns. Okay. They're still badasses.
Where's your space Jesus now?
And he had to go to the Old West to find him, so we had to go to the Fistful of Data's episode.
Oh, Jesus. I love that episode.
We'll get your shit fixed up in a jiffy.
He pretty
yeah,
much
it's
left.
the even the minutia of what happens in that second act. I mean, we could certainly we could break it down more, but I think if we're all being honest, I really do feel it's fluff. We know what the story's doing. We know by episode 3, where it's setting up and heading, and now at this point, it's just gathering all the different characters you're going to touch base with that are all going to come together to fight the big evil at the end.
I think that's right. Surprise, surprise. The Romulan lover boy who everyone is like, hey, that guy's a fucking spy, turns out to be a spy. And they're like, oh, wild. Oh, that's crazy.
A literal fucking spy.
That's still not as bad as Commodore O, though. Because, like, as soon as she was on screen and she was like, I'm Commodore O, I was like, that's the villain. Like,
oh!
Yeah.
It's O!
Like, new Star Trek just like thinks that Asian women are the biggest threat to the Federation.
Are you saying they're
Okay,
not?
Giorgio.
Yeah, you know, if this was made
Yeah.
in the 80s, we would have like a slight Russian accented man. So you'd
Oh
have
yeah,
same
so
role.
instead of oh god, I didn't
You
even frame it
listen
like
to
that.
me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jeez,
like,
you just ruined
I'm
disco
surprised
for
that
me.
I'm surprised they didn't now.
so
They
they
just all
crash
look like
land.
Putin.
Jesus God! Oh no! So they crash land though, and they are or not crash land. They wind up over at Riker and Troy's like weird depression village hut
Yeah,
where
yeah.
they're raising their feral daughter, and they're like, "Oh man, we make pizza and our son is dead. Life is fine. We've moved on."
Pretty good setup.
Okay,
I feel like this episode is where Kelton decided like this was definitely garbage in and it was garbage out.
this episode pissed me off for one giant reason. All the Next Generation movies were trash, right? But why didn't they go back to the planet from Insurrection, where they have the rings that regenerate everybody? Why did you go to a random good dirt planet when you could have just gone to?
I don't know, man. Like, I don't think the people from Insurrection would be all like, "Yeah, everyone come by," right? Like,
All right, everybody come by.
Bring your dune buggies and beer.
Well, I mean, you can imagine Riker's strategy of like, well, you know, I'll come by with my son who needs your help, or I can come back with an entire Starfleet armada. You pick. You pick.
Yeah.
Because
Decide.
apparently I can just pick up either one.
Who wants pizza?
I know, right?
Every
real
box has a
tomatoes.
picture of
It's not
Riker on the front
delivery.
doing the.
Yeah, so
It's the Riker.
they, and this is honestly also when just kind of everything really fell apart for me, and I legitimately turned on the show. I was like,
Yeah.
all right, so now I see you for what you are. Okay, I cannot get over some of these factors. So let's round it home. How does this world that we've built out, this wonderful cast of characters that we've clearly all gotten to know and aren't just trope based one dimensional fucks, what's going on now, huh?
Have you ever played Mass Effect 3? Just
So we're gonna leave
that
it to
and yeah, the last 15 minutes of Mass Effect 3 are stretched into the final 3 episodes of Picard.
what I really got out of the last 3 episodes was basically a simple line that is, all this has happened before, all this will happen again.
Ooh.
That was what I got out of the last 3, and my single favorite part of the last 3 episodes is when that Borg cube that 7 of 9 steals just gets pooped out of the wormhole and then just crashes.
Poop.
She's like, I stole this Borg cube.
Crashes by flowers. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm a Borg cube. I'm the baddest
we gotta-
motherfucker in the universe.
but-
Yeah, except you're
yeah.
gonna get taken the fuck out by a flower.
We gotta lay
It's-
this out for some people though, because
Yeah.
everything has kind of culminated to this point of Picard and
So
Soji. They arrive on weird like synthetic life form planet, which
Yeah,
is
they
protected
find
by-
out like
Sorry, go ahead.
they find out where all the androids that are still alive are living. That's like the whole point. Like Picard is looking for Soji, and then he finds out now we've got to find the planet where you're from. That's where the Romulans, they're looking for it as well, because the Romulans want to, they want to nuke it from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. And Picard wants to get there first. And in the process, Soji is learning that she might have some metaphysical significance in some way, because she's being called the Destroyer by some folks. And that
Crazy
kind of
lady.
and crazy lady. So like, now we've set up, okay, so we know it's going to be the mean robots versus, the organics, and now the robots are calling Soji, like this figure, the destroyer. When you don't really know if it's going to be, what is she going to destroy?
yeah. And then, like, yeah, they get to the planet where the Romulans and everyone's been looking for, where all these androids are, and they're like, oh yeah, like, by the way, like, Dr. Soong's, like, I don't know what he is, like, nephew or like
Son, I believe.
Son.
Yeah,
son.
His son.
Yeah, like, he's there, and he's
That we
running the
never heard
show on the planet of androids. And
Makes his own.
Oh my god, it's just a planet full of his own real dolls.
Definitely having sex with all of them.
Oh
Yes.
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 There's some serious fucking going on. There's no way there's.
I'm sorry. This is Dr. Soong's son. Dr. Soong made these brilliant androids, and they sent all these brilliant androids out into space. And yet, at the very end, guy shows up with a soccer ball full of explosives, just like, yeah, I'm gonna do a header into that big antenna. If that's cool.
Yeah, so let's think about like on the logistical side of this, because then we also find out that there's like a new Soji body, right? Like
Yes.
golden Soji, which doesn't.
Right.
So
Yeah, so they're making like an Ultron, like this empty body they can put like an AI into.
Soji with a
Mhm.
spray tan. She's like the Trump Soji, right?
that really did seem reminiscent of like classic Trek to me.
So I think it's supposed to be like Data from season 1, because
In
in
the sense
season
that-
1 he was really shiny.
Yeah, I mean that it threw me off just with how bad it was.
They literally just dumped a bunch of highlighter on her.
Trump Soji, I like that though. She's
Trumpy.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
We're all kind of stumbling here towards the end a little bit.
I
But
know.
I think
I
so
know.
did the show, to be fair.
Uh,
So-
Sister fucker kills his sister. That was a fun part.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Oh no, Seven kills his sister. Sister fucker just helps
7
kill
of
her.
9 does. 7 of 9
Yes.
like shoved
Yeah.
her out off into the Borg cube, and we didn't see her actually die. So
Who I will go on
Yeah.
record and say one of the few bright components of Picard is 7 of 9. Like
Absolutely.
yeah, like they redeemed her from an eye candy character in my eyes. I felt that's all she was really on Voyager. To like holy shit, this is like the space pirate, Firefly spinoff I want to watch. Fuck this Picard
and her becoming the queen of the Borg for a few seconds anyway. And
I
That
guess
was
being
kind of
like,
awesome.
I don't
There.
want to let go, but also they should be free.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh.
really enjoyed that.
I love how flat that fell. She's like, okay, I'm gonna be the queen, and we're gonna use the Borg that are on here to get rid of the Romulans. And she's like, I am the Borg now. And they're like, open the door. She's like, fuck.
Oh, they all just get sucked out. Yeah, like
Yeah, except we all know for a fact that Borg can live in space.
Mm.
So all they have to do is like get those little drones that were fixing the ship to go over and pick them up and back.
man,
Well,
fucking
I
nerds
don't-
ruining everything.
I
What
assume
I
they
don't
kind
get
of did
about-
that later, right?
What I don't get
Later.
about that is that like if she was controlling the entire Borg cube, wouldn't she detect that they were in the systems, ready to open the doors?
She's
Like,
no.
yeah, and like boot them or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Could
there's
be.
a lot of like,
Anyway.
I mean, you could just
It's-
done a whole movie called it Lawnmower 3. And it could have been like, her being in the Matrix there in that scene.
I was so ready for Seven to become the villain of the end of the series. Like, not because I wanted to necessarily see her as a bad character, the bad guy, but I just thought that would be a really fun twist for them to throw in. She
Yeah, yeah,
can't bring herself to disconnect.
That would have
I'd have
been
been there for it.
amazing, especially compared to the actual ending we got, which is we're shooting a giant sky beam into space, so a new form of sentient life that definitely isn't just like Galactus from the 2010 Green Lantern movie can come through a space portal and doom us all. Oh,
And it's
God.
obviously not just control discovery.
Yeah.
I felt it was very Mass Effect 3 with the AI coming to harvest, quote save, the AI race. Like it was a different take on the way the Mass Effect was harvesting organic life and artificial intelligence, whereas this thing was just coming for, the artificial intelligence and save them. I thought that was pretty interesting.
It felt very red
really.
versus blue as well.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did.
The Great Destroyer has arrived. The Great Destroyer has arrived.
The Great Destroyer was already there.
It was in the house.
Saw
whole
the
time.
visions. Yeah, I also don't get the whole like mind melding into gosh, what is a blonde chick?
Oh, Agnes.
Oh God, I hated
Chick.
that. You can
Yeah.
just learn a mind meld. Like, no, that's a Vulcan thing. You can't just learn.
Yeah.
Oh no, you
and,
can learn a
like,
mind meld. I don't have any problem with that. Like that's happened before.
Who was she practicing her mind
Who?
melds on? Like, And is she just
I
like
can
plugging into them to
Through
actually
USB
achieve
3.
it? Right. But pretty much she plugs into her by mind melding and sees the vision that all the Vulcans were not Vulcans. Oh god. Romulans were
Romulans.
afraid of. Yeah.
Same thing.
Right?
Literally.
That's racist.
It's literally the same thing.
They all look the same.
That's what the episode Reunification was about.
I will say, we've referenced it a couple of times with the MCU. Like, I'm not a Kurtzman fan, but I'll go full. You can totally Kurtzman pill me if his whole point is to make like this MCU kind of thing where he connects all the different Star Treks through some time travel and dimensional travel and artificial intelligence from the future trying to go back to the past and fuck shit up. Because I mean, AI definitely played a role in Discovery season 2. I'm assuming it probably will in 3. It's playing a role in Picard. I remember reading on the internet quite a bit about how they were talking about tying season 2 of Picard in with season 4 of Discovery, but I'm not entirely sure, how much weight you put to that.
Hopefully before Patrick Stewart just croaks.
Yeah, I can only imagine the weird reshoots they'll do. They'll hire Tom Hardy, have him play like weird like Picard Clone 4.
Is it time to move on to like critics and versus fans and hot takes?
Yeah, I absolutely think so. We're only running way over. So this
Way
is
the fuck over. Yeah.
a nice thick boy episode.
That's
So,
my like super like subtle segue that was not subtle at all.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. It was
Someone's gotta
about
do it.
as subtle as fucking Elrond or whatever the hell that kid's name was.
Choose to
Elroy
live,
was-
motherfucker.
His boy Elroy.
Oh god.
So no, critics tended to really like Picard. Fans tended to really not like it. On the extremes, we have the Rotten Tomatoes critic score, which gave the series an 8.7 overall, and on the other end, the Metacritic user score, which gave the show a 4.3. Across all of the internet, though, the weighted averages essentially come out to critics giving it 8.1, fans giving it a solid 6.0. A solid meaning, it's just a 6. So I don't know why I said 6.0, but so what are we feeling like is closer to the mark here? 8.1 or 6.0? Who got it right?
6.0 for sure. For sure. I think you might have been really hopeful to it was going to nail an 8, but 8 is a really quality kind of show that keeps you coming back for more. And I mean, I certainly came back week to week for more, but I was only coming back because it was Star Trek, not because I gave a shit what was going to happen next. It wasn't compelling me to be there, you know, at all moments. Like there were times I was definitely glance at my phone or laugh at a meme, instead of watching what was going on the screen at points when it was dull.
Sure.
And so I would definitely say the 6.0 would probably be closer to where I would personally score it. So critics might have been a little overzealous.
That makes sense. What about you, Cap? What's your opinion on it? Who got it right?
Well, just to give you a kind of a comparison, the episode Best of Both Worlds, when Picard is originally assimilated into the Borg, is a 9.4 on IMDb. Personally, this is my least favorite Star Trek series. There's a lot of room for there's a lot of room to do some really good stuff with it. If you judged all of Next Generation by the first season,
Yeah, fair.
if you judged all of Deep Space Nine by the first season,
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Alamarine, count to 4. Yeah.
Then 3 more.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you don't like my Alamarine, you don't deserve my. You can deal with.
Beyond the Stars.
Yeah.
If you don't like me in my Alamarine, you don't deserve me in my Beyond the Stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. It's like, I'd probably give this one about a 4.
Damn, that's some hate.
There's a lot of it that I felt like they almost hit and just missed.
It's
And
tough love.
quite
to see its
frankly,
potential.
Patrick Stewart is a fantastic actor in anything he's in, really. But every time he really puts a lot of input into a movie or something, like he put a ton of input into Nemesis, to give you an idea.
Yeah.
He's really bad at writing Star Trek.
Fair.
And if you keep Patrick Stewart in the actor seat and out of the writer's seat, I think you'll do a really good show. Because you've got a lot of options here.
Well, I think that's a very well weighted response. What about you, Craig? What are you feeling?
Man, like they're gonna hate me, but I'm all in for the 8.5. Like I'm fuck it, like I enjoyed
we are not
it.
friends, dude.
Like there was a lot of like really good parts where I'm like the Stardust City rag. I enjoyed that episode. I loved the hell out of it. Right. I like the adventurous like nature of it, and like I have no problem with people like taking like big risks with like what they're trying to do. Like of course there are parts that I don't like, and like the what is it, the Deus Ex Machina tool or whatever, like the tool
Jesus.
that just fixes anything, like that, which we
The
didn't
literal-
talk about, but like yeah, like that's a problem,
literal-
right? But like it was like an enjoyable, raucous, like fun thing, and like it wasn't always raucous. It was like we're gonna have the Stardust City rag, and then we're gonna have like the much more chill episodes. Like I enjoyed that mix, and I think it really set the stage to do a lot of really good and interesting things in the future. Like what they're gonna do in the future, I don't know, but like I'm in. I have no problems with this.
That's actually one of the reasons that I actually do appreciate the new Treks, even though I'm not a big fan of them. That Star Trek means a lot to different people, and it means different things to different people. So it brings in a bigger audience. Experiment.
Yeah, I'm on the total opposite end with Cap. I think it deserves like a 4, maybe even less. God, I was so hateful of this show, like from the beginning. It is not taking risks, I don't think. I guess the ending, the very ending in episode 3, like I guess the exact ending, like you can ask Kelton, and they didn't take risks. Like it was just a repeat of random idiotic tropes that are so redone, and they didn't even do them good. And
you're correct, yeah.
And with the ending, when they did like the old Data up, like in Data uniform and whatever, like they fucked his hair up completely. Like his hair was sideways and it was like not correct. Like it wasn't dark enough on one scene, then it was way too dark on another scene. Like his skin was not correct. He just got dumped with highlighter again, like the same they did with the chick. I tell you, I hate this so much. I got so mad at the end.
This is
I was like,
revolting.
I'm done.
I know that line. I know what you just referenced.
More?
Yeah, more.
Please.
Please, take it. Jesus.
Arguably,
Man, there's so much piss and vinegar in this room right now. I don't like it. You know, just,
like I said, it's like I have a very low opinion of these 10 episodes as a whole. You mentioned Stardust City Rag. I fucking love that episode. It's one of my favorite episodes of Star Trek now.
I'm glad that like you had something that you enjoyed.
But there's a lot of little pieces. They just didn't add up for me.
I think Devon really nailed it when it's all these tropes. We've all seen it before, like you said, Cap, earlier, we've seen all this before, we're gonna see it again. Like this is all the same shit we've done a million times. What can you bring to the table and make it interesting when we're talking about this, AI versus, humanity started. We've seen it in the Matrix. You've seen it in Battlestar Galactica. We've seen it done so many times. So how is Picard going to do it differently? Oh, putting Picard in a golem at the end, like that's cool, I guess. Yeah, that was taking a fucking risk with the canon and the franchise for sure. But why did it have to take me fucking 10 hours for you to get there? Like, why couldn't we have been hitting the story beats in this kind of way from the start?
And that's what I had guessed. I guessed that they were gonna put him in in a body whatever at the end. Like the
Mecha
second
Picard.
they were like, "Oh, he has a brain thing," and Kelton was like, "Oh, it got renewed for season 2." It was like, "That's what they're gonna do," and he was like,
Mhm.
"Okay." It was like, "It is." And then the second the son was like, "Oh yeah, I've been building this body and whatever so I could transfer my mind," I was like, I told you. God damn it. I was expecting more than what they did with
Discovery.
Discovery.
Discovery. I was expecting more than just a Discovery like level show.
I mean, like, does this mean that we all like Discovery more than Picard? Because, like, I'm in that boat, but, like, I
Oh,
just
yeah.
want to hear some of you say it.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
no.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, I will
And that's
happily
saying
say
something.
that this is the. I will happily say that Picard is my least favorite series, and that Star Trek Discovery is one notch above it.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, better is better.
Discovery's great, but okay, that's another show.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Discovery is my second favorite.
in the last segment of this thing, as we were going for 45 minutes, it's turning into 2 hours very quickly. The last thing is, of course, going through about, well, what would you want to see? How would you improve it? Or like, what's a hot take? Could be some combination of all of that to really kind of to set the scene here. Devon, what was your hot take? What did you think they?
I think they should have shot number 1. No, the dog number 1. They should have just ended him. Giving Picard
I mean,
something
they
to
did
actually
abandon.
fight for,
Just-
actually fight
And
about.
they did abandon it.
Fucking
the
Mike, they
Romulans-
bring Michael Vick back and like, oh,
Jesus Christ.
I was picturing the Romulans kill the dog, and Picard just goes John Wick.
oh, God.
And they abandoned number 1. That's kind of sad. Like, what the hell did you leave your dog?
You can
Yeah,
replicate
he could
the
have been on
dog.
the boat.
He's
I'm
with the
sitting here with
Romulans
2
who-
dogs on my couch. I'm all like, why would you leave your dog?
We named the dog Indiana.
The dog, Indiana. You were named after the dog.
I mean, it would have made more sense for him to actually like go out and do something, because he was living a life. He was chilling, and I don't think Dodge was a big enough motivator. They should have shot number 1.
What about y'all? Any particular hot takes? Anything? Yeah, you wanted to improve the show.
I mean, there should have definitely been more fucking. I mean, there was a lot, even especially at the end. Like, was it Raj and fucking 7 of 9? Like, why couldn't touching hands? Like, this is 2020. Make the fuck out. Like, just you walk up to her, you treat her like a bitch, you grab her by the pussy, man. Like, I mean,
When you're a Borg, they let you do it.
yeah.
That's the destroyer's job.
Oh, gee. Pussy destroyer. Oh
There's
god.
that parody. There we go. That work.
God, no.
Your
Make
next
it
sex
stop.
tape.
I would like to see the show like really quick. We know they're bringing back Whoopi Goldberg. So what I'm hoping is that's indicative that they're going to bring back John Delancey, and we'll get some Q action. I would like to see Q, but I mean, if they do it right, and like I am firmly expecting, and I fucking hope to God that season 2 is the last season of Picard. Like, don't drag it on. The guy's fucking old. Just stick the landing, like as best you can before you ruin the whole fucking franchise. Please, God, make it stop. Please, I'm begging.
They've got like 5 more series they can ruin the show with.
Oh,
Are you ready for like the gritty reboot of LaForge?
oh Jesus. LaForge is gonna be like a fucking 80s sitcom where the guy gets divorced, and it's gonna be like LaForge after he got divorced and he gets his kids on the weekends and shit. It's gonna be really
Oh,
bad.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
I just
And
wanna see
whatever
my kids,
holodeck
Cheryl.
person he's sleeping with.
No.
Oh
This
god.
is fucking. Oh, God. Him and Reg sharing
Oh, God. Reginald Barkley is the worst fucking character. But
He's one of my favorites. He's so
yeah, I
terrible.
know. He's so bad though, but okay. Like for like how to improve hot take, like you've gotta kill Picard like next season.
Mm-hmm.
You've gotta kill him. because like
First episode.
Rios and episode 3, because Rios, Raffi, Agnes, like I will watch them. And like I'll be totally content to watch whatever their adventures are. Like also though, or like maybe if you want to go like super hot take, like no, Agnes goes to fucking prison and then we follow
Mhm.
like what Starfleet prison is like from Agnes's point of view.
Ooh, so like an Orange is the New Black in the.
Yeah. Orange is the New Black with Starfleet. Yeah.
Okay. We could do a crossover where she's in jail, shares a cell with Michael Burnham.
Yellow was the new black.
Oh God.
No, what I was hoping for when we found out that sorry, what I was hoping for when we found out that Picard had the brain thing from not Alan Alda was I was hoping that he would find out, oh, there's a way to fix this, but there's only one way to do it. And Picard was going to have to allow himself to be reassimilated into
no.
temporarily to do something.
I
Because
thought it was going to be something like, "There's only one way, Picard. You gotta fuck me. You gotta fuck my dry
I
little
know
mouth."
Yep. Oh, Jesus. Oh, like one of those '90s blowjobs, just a dry
Yeah.
mouth. Oh God.
I'm telling you, Picard, it's not going to be fun. My species, it's all thorns and teeth down there, but you got to do it.
well, the good news is I can take mine out.
Oh God.
Jesus. Yeah, I think the thing though that I would want to see is like a limited series. I don't know, make it like 5-6 episodes of it's just Rios. It's Rios talking to Rios as Rios.
Yes.
It's him. He has like a mental breakdown. He's in the mental hospital, whatever you want to say, and it's just him talking to himself. And he's trying to work through his issues in a padded cell.
Well, the whole show is just Rios tripping balls in his cell. Like none of this ever happened. He never met Picard.
Rios is actually Alex Kurtzman.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus. Oh God, that's a conspiracy that I think we need to leave people on. With
Yeah.
just be like, that's who he is, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer. So this has been absolutely an absolute blast. So sorry for running long, y'all. I know you guys got
when you want to talk Star Trek with Star Trek nerds, that is a thing that will happen.
Yeah.
You guys are making me want to go back and rewatch some of the early episodes and just compare them play by play style to Picard. Just to see where we would.
There's a lot of content.
Yeah, I know. And with these weird quarantine times, who could possibly think of getting into Star Trek again randomly being the way to go?
I fell in love with it in college when I would be sitting there writing my papers. I never really got into it until in my 20s, and then I just started watching it in the background, and the next thing you know, I had watched 700 fucking hours of Star Trek in 3 years, and wondered what I did with my life.
I watched the entire Star Trek universe, almost all of it. I couldn't get into DS, but
Oh, I hate you.
I
God,
all
Devon,
of it.
damn.
What the fuck?
I know, man.
I'm
Fuck.
sorry, I was in my 3rd term of pregnancy. I was just falling asleep immediately when
She
I
just
put it on.
goes and rips your throat, like just.
But I watched. Kelton laid out the whole timeline of how I would need to watch it because I hadn't seen almost anything from Star Trek, and so I watched it all timeline wise, and I mean it was a long pregnancy. It seemed short because I had Star Trek.
I've been watching the Star Trek since, I don't know, probably near birth. One of my earliest memories is pulling myself up over the edge of my playpen to watch what I remember now is the episode of the Enterprise incident, because I was really actually very worried when I saw the Enterprise surrounded by Romulan warbirds and wondered how Captain was going to get out of this one.
No.
That's adorable. That's a good memory. That's something where indoctrinated from an early age.
Yeah, that's how it was with me. My dad left on an original series episode, and he just left it on TV. He was like, "Oh, we'll watch Star Trek." And like, he wasn't really into Star Trek, but like, as soon as I watched it, like an original series episode, even I was like, "Oh, I'm in. Like, this is my shit." Yeah.
Oh, it's happening. It's happening for real. It's about to go down.
I was one of the people who was pissed off that Captain Kirk wasn't going to be in Next Generation when Next Generation first came out. That's how old I am.
Craig, do not speak any further. Because of association will also.
Yeah, tell me, what was it like when black and white was the only way to watch television? in the before times of Zoom?
Man, the whole world was black and white, dude.
Yeah, right?
So
Never
much
seen
of
Pleasantville? That was a documentary, man.
so much of those old shows were not meant to be seen in HD. There's so much of the original series when it shows up on the screen, like, oh, I can see the wood grain.
Yeah, it certainly is a very special relic. But once again, y'all, thank you so much. Where can people find you? What's going on in y'all's world?
You can find me on Twitter at Farkinbas, ARKINBASAG.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
I'm just on.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry. I'm just on Twitter at II as in EYE cap, and that's about it.
Okay.
Of angry politics.
I have like 5 Twitter accounts, but the one for this one, I'll say it's called Dear Leader Lorca. So Dear Leader, and then LORCA from Star Trek Discovery. And I run a thing called Trek Brackets, where I create huge brackets, bracket contests about, like Scott said earlier, like it was about Star Trek characters. The current one, I'm in the finals of like 64 different alien races. It's the Romulans versus the Klingons going on right now. If you go to my Twitter, you can vote on it. It's on my pinned tweet. And so, yeah, that's where you'll find me.
Hell yeah. Oh, that actually is the thing to do. It's a call to action at the end of the episode. So I like it. I like
It's the wholesome content we're all here for.
I have voted in that.
Thank you.
I highly suggest everyone go ahead, go and do that, and we will catch y'all next week. Okay, thanks y'all.